And good afternoon, and welcome to We Believe Newsbreak, broadcasting out of our We Believe African-American owned digital studios here in downtown Jackson, Mississippi, where we're looking at a temperature outside of 54 degrees. Woke up to freezing temps this morning, and we're just trying to roll with it. So it's got up to 54, and it looks like that's it for today. Welcome back to the show. We're really glad that you're joining us. I had a state representative, Bo Brown, was going to join the show today, but he's had to do some dental work and kind of ended up taking priority. So we're just going to roll on with the show without him, and we'll get him back in maybe 2-3 weeks. We'll get him over here. But my name's Chris Young, and I'm glad to be with you today. We do have a call-in number. If you have questions, comments, concerns, 1-800-492-5186. 1-800-492-5186, or you can join us in the chat on Facebook or YouTube or whatever your preference is. We've got some young, dynamic producers in our studio now, and they're doing good stuff each and every day, bringing more and more content to our WeBelieveDigital.com platform, and we're archiving all the shows that we do. There's all kinds of opportunity for you to view at your schedule, at on demand, so to speak, and all kinds of various types of content, from music to news to the political arena, social justice arena. We're having church comes in. Of course, we have a show dedicated to prayer 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon. All kinds of different content coming in. And so, we would love to be, one of your sources for information, news, entertainment. Who knows, maybe one day a one-stop shop where you can get everything that you need right here through WeBelieveDigital.com, African-American owned and operated studio right here in downtown Jackson. So we're glad to have you for this Newsbreak show. And I think we'll start out with what's going on up in Memphis. It's tough stuff. It's tough to talk about. I feel as if there's going to be more trauma laid upon the heads and the hearts of African Americans, especially in this country. We have the death. This young man, 29 years old, Tyree Nichols, pulled over for a traffic stop on January 7th, I believe it was, and 3 days later, he died from the beatings that he took at the hands of 5 also black Memphis police officers. Those police officers have been fired. Murder charges have been brought against 4 of those police officers. What do you say? I mean, how do you get stopped for a perceived traffic violation and wind up a dead man at 29 years old? It's just the brain can't. How do you make sense of that? And they're going to release the videos. Apparently, last I heard, that was going to be about 7:00 tonight. The chief of police, a black female Memphis police chief, gave an announcement, press release this morning, and indicated that the videos of the beatings will be released tonight around 7:00. So I'm thinking that's 7:00 Central, but I'm not positive about that. And how do we grapple with that? It's just tough to get your head around, and every time there's a a shooting or a murder or a fatal beating or something like that. Everybody's talking about police reform, and it's just there's so many different issues going on here. But just wanted to let you know about that. If you do want to watch that, about 7 o'clock tonight. And they've obviously moved very swiftly. I mean, January 7th, not long ago. And then we have also on the national front, we have these what appear to be racially motivated killings in California. Two of them costing 18 lives total within an 8-day period, or within a 5-day period. Monterey Park, California, Lunar New Year celebration at a dance hall, and seven people, 11 people rather, end up being shot. These are Asian people enjoying an Asian New Year, Lunar New Year celebration, and an older Asian man comes in and kills 11. Others were wounded, but 11 were killed. And same thing just a short while later in a place called the Half Moon Bay, up more northern California. 5 of the 7 victims at this mushroom growing facility, killed by this man whose name is Shunli Zhao, a 66-year-old man, also, Asian. 5 of these victims were Chinese citizens. It just baffles the mind. But one thing it reminds me of, and we've talked about this on the Monday night Sizzling in Mississippi show. Do you notice that with these shootings, Asian people killing Asian people, you don't see the headline, Asian on Asian crime. But anytime there's black people involved, you're going to hear that black on black crime. And it's just, it's interesting how the major networks have a double standard about that. You never hear about, Mexican on Mexican crime or white on white crime. You just never see those words in print or listen to the cable news folks talking about that. But when it comes to black people, that's always the first words out of their mouth. So we got a lot of madness going on in this country. Issues with white supremacy and Christian nationalism, and it's really tough to get a handle on. But those are the stories I wanted to start out with to get us rolling today. And as we move down from the national level onto the state level in Mississippi, man, oh man, do we have some stuff going on. And I think I really like to speak a bit about this mortality report that was released yesterday by the State Department of Health, the Mississippi State Department of Health. And sad news, when you don't think it can get any worse with this mothers dying from childbirth and also dying within the first year, postpartum deaths, lo and behold, it's gotten worse. And if I ask you to take a guess at with the one race that it's gotten even worse with, the sad thing is you already know the answer. But this persists year after year in Mississippi. They compared in this report that was just released, they compared data with 2019. So you got about a 3-year separation there. And so the pregnancy-related mortality was in 2019 was 33.2 per every 100,000 live births. And that has now increased overall to 36 per out of every 100,000 live births. But that's the overall. That's the bad news overall to start out, and then we look at the more of the specifics. Also indicates that lo and behold, the number of white mothers that die in childbirth is improving slightly. But the rate for black mothers continues to get worse. It continues to decline, to increase rather, up to 51.9 for every 100,000 live births. The mother will die in childbirth. The black mother will die in childbirth here in Mississippi. Now, that was 3 years ago, so it's gone from 51.9 up to 65.1, more than 4 times the number of white mothers who die in childbirth. And it's just as sad gets, to end up having to see these new black mothers, any mother for that, but the vast majority black mothers in caskets, as a result of what? And the one thing that one of the members of the mortality committee, a doctor by the name of Charlene Collier, was quoted saying, it's critical that you don't read this report and think that these mothers are dying because of chronic healthcare issues. She made it crystal clear that that's not the case, that these mothers are dying because of gaps in overall infrastructure, insufficient obstetric care access, racism, and bias in care are the causes, and that virtually all of them are preventable. Virtually all of them are preventable. And, when you ask yourself, how does racism, how does that come to play when you're dealing with healthcare professionals, with doctors and nurses? Because these people have taken an oath, and it's just beyond the ability to grasp, and the new state director of health, Dr. Edney, he indicates that, and this committee's report also indicates that if we can expand postpartum health care, and we can expand Medicaid overall, that will improve the picture for our health care in the state, keep hospitals open that are in danger of closing, increase training where we can try to eliminate some of the bias that may be present, and get this wraparound care for, our most crucial element of our society, our mothers. None of us are going to be here without them, and we're not taking the right care of them, and they shouldn't be taking a back seat. But politics gets in the way, and for the last 2 years in Mississippi, the Speaker of the House, Philip Gunn, who's announced he's not going to be running for re-election, at least for the as a representative. Some people say he's going to run for governor. I don't know, but he hasn't announced anything like that. But for the last 2 years, when there was an overwhelmingly affirmative vote in the Senate to pass this postpartum care, where the mother can, instead of only having health care coverage for the first 60 days of the baby's life, they get to have it for 1 year. The baby's automatically covered, but we're talking about the moms here. But he let that, the term is die on the vine. He let that die on the vine. Didn't even bring it up for a vote in the House of Representatives. But, the Mississippi Senate is also, has a Republican majority, yet still they saw the reasoning to go ahead and pass this. But this guy, just one man, just decides to not bring it up and let it die at the end of the term, taking no action and putting new Mississippi mothers in caskets because of one thing, because of politics, because the majority of those women are black women. And so, and that postpartum carve out, is part of Medicaid. And, and these Republican legislatures, they don't want to call that Medicaid. They don't want to talk about the fact that the federal government would be paying the vast majority of the tab. They just want to say, yeah, we're not going to support Obamacare. So, this is the narrow viewpoint that these folks have. They say things like, pick yourself up by your bootstraps, get a job, pay for your insurance, and they just refuse to acknowledge that some people ain't got no bootstraps because they don't have any boots, and it's a sad commentary to have that going on here in Mississippi. So we're going to take a break now and show you some commercials, and then we'll come right back.
Do you have something to say? Do you want your voice heard? Join the We Believe Global lineup. Be the star of your own show. For more info, call 800-492-5186, option number 1, or visit online at webelieve.global.
Are you dreaming of becoming an entrepreneur, but you're not sure where or how to start? At Entrepreneurs Academy 101, our online program will guide step by step on how to start and grow your own business. We offer courses such as how to write a business plan, how to create a budget, and so much more. Our online training program is designed for you to learn at your own pace, and there's no set order to complete this program. Because our academy is online, you have the choice to learn with a group, with friends, or individually. Upon completion of the entire curriculum, you will receive a certificate of achievement to acknowledge that you have completed the training needed to become a successful entrepreneur. So enroll today to design the life that you love. Contact your entrepreneur coach, Brenda Myers, at 601-672-0695 or visit our website at www.entrepreneursacademy101.com for more information.
Welcome back to We Believe Digital News Break. We're glad you're joining us today. We've just been talking most recently about the mortality rate that was issued, and just so many poor mothers in Mississippi that don't have the resources like others do to get this insurance coverage, to be able to get their health care coverage. And consequently, they're dying as a result of that. I did want to mention too, there is one promising thing with this postpartum carve out, and that is that a white Republican lady in the House has filed a bill, and that could be a game changer. Apparently, and her name is Missy McGee, a Republican from Hattiesburg, and I'm taking this from a Mississippi Today report, but apparently that hasn't happened previously. No House members have, it appears, have raised the issue, but now that's happening, and it's happening by a white female, and she's saying this has to stop. We have to make this carve out and give these women whose only crime in life is being poor, to give these mothers an opportunity to get the health care coverage that they need, and to be able to, be able to not only have healthy babies, but also to, to be there, which of course the critical aspect of the mother in the child's life. And so, hats off to this person, Missy McGee, who I've never met before, but God love you for bringing that up. I think that would make it harder for the speaker to let it die on the vine again. So with her out there, shaking it up a little bit, according to this report in Mississippi Today, it's putting added pressure on the Speaker of the House, and hopefully some good results can come out of that. When we move down to Jackson and Hinds County, man, oh man, lots going on with this water situation that we wanted to talk about today. Everybody seems to cite a different number. I don't know, if it's 600 million or 700 million or 800 million, but there are buku millions of hundreds of millions of dollars that are coming straight to Jackson to help us with this water issue. And it's really coming straight through the EPA as part of an agreement that was signed, so in other words, the state is not getting their hands on that money, and the money is being sent where it's needed, and it's all coming, and it's going to come through this third-party water administrator, a guy by the name of Ted Henifin, who I spoke with yesterday over at the Smith Robertson Museum. So, the Department of Justice and the EPA had filed suit against the state of Mississippi. Now, think that one through for a minute. Do you think that if the Department of Justice and the EPA thought that Mississippi was adequately providing resources to the city of Jackson for its water system, do you think they would file a lawsuit against the state itself for neglect? You already know the answer to that. So one of the things that's come out of that is a third-party administrator has been appointed. His name is Ted Henifin, great guy. And really, he came here from Virginia, where he once oversaw, what do we have, 170, 180 connections maybe in the Jackson area. The company that he oversaw up in Southeast Virginia, there were nearly 500,000 connections, a much larger system. This guy knows what he's doing, and a great guy. And he showed up at community meetings, and he's told people, members of the community, straight to their face that he is not leaving until this thing gets fixed. And I can tell you, from every indication, he is a man of his word. So that's great. That's great news that he's on the job. He's holding community meetings. Yesterday at Smith Robertson Museum, he held 3 different meetings centered around breakfast, lunch, and dinner, bringing in contractors. The title of the meetings, the series of meetings that he held yesterday, the title was called Inclusive Business Participation. Wow, inclusive. Now, once again, why do you want to call your open house, your business participation meeting, inclusive? Well, because it's in Jackson, Mississippi, that's why. And because black businesses are excluded all the time from getting opportunities and so many constraints, but with regard to bonding, with regard to capacity, etc. And so, but Mr. Henifin is not bound by state regulations about these issues. And so he wants to hear. And I just want to share with you, I stood there at the backside of that auditorium yesterday, and I listened to him say to the audience, I'm so glad you're here today because I need to know what you can bring to the picture, and we're going to package this together, and we're going to meet these objectives to get this water system and this sewer system and this billing system corrected. And man, oh man, and he's talking to engineers, he's talking to general contractors, he's talking to electricians, he's talking to IT people, just it was just amazing to stand there and to listen to those words out of his mouth. And I have to tell you, as soon as I left, I called my friend, Mr. Socrates Garrett, a long-time Jackson businessman that used to do the show with me all the time. And I said, Mr. Garrett, can you believe it? And because he had gone to the breakfast meeting and I went to the lunch meeting. And he said, I never heard words like that. I've never heard words like that spoken in 40 plus years of doing business in Jackson. So that was just, that was really, really wonderful. Is a golden opportunity here. And this guy is a fair guy and an equitable guy, and he's not encumbered by the rules and regulations of state contracting. And he wants he sees what's going on here in Jackson, and he's gonna make things better, and he's gonna make it better not just through fixing the system, but by lifting all boats along the way. And we'll get contractors in here doing major work that are non-white firms and non-white male firms, and we'll get female-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, DBEs, et cetera, et cetera. So this is good news. Now, this isn't all going to happen overnight, but from the get-go, I'm just trying to share this is the approach that this man is taking. It's just really, really wonderful. And even as we have that going on, there's legislators. The session is going on. Already opened up. The legislative session to open up January 3rd, and just yesterday, a legislator. I didn't write down his name intentionally. But somebody that's not even a Jackson legislator has introduced a bill. This push by legislators to take ownership of the Jackson water system. Now, we kind of heard that this would be coming, but now it's coming. They want to call it, they want to transfer the Jackson water system to a public board, what they want to call, a water sewer authority. And shock of all shocks, so now you take something essentially out of the hands of the mayor, if they're successful. They would take something out of the hands of the mayor of the city, and this board of 9 people would be loaded with appointees of the governor and the lieutenant governor, a total of 5 out of the 9. You know what that number represents, right? 5 out of 9. So a majority would come from appointees by the governor and the lieutenant governor. Then the Jackson mayor would get to appoint 4 people, but 2 of those people, one of those people has to be a representative from Byram, and another has to be a representative from Ridgeland. So you see how they're spreading this out. So the mayor gets to have 4 picks, but 2 of them is from people that are users of the water system, but not reside in different areas than Jackson proper, if you will. So we'll see where this goes. I've heard from a couple of different sources that even if it goes to the even if it goes through the legislature, the white Christian Republican controlled legislature, even if it goes through those, it doesn't mean it's a done deal, because first of all, it supposedly is planned to not start until Mr. Henifin finishes his work here, until the system is fixed. And also, I mean, to me, it's got lawsuits written all over it. So we'll see what these folks plan to do, and but we're keeping an eye on it. And I also call attention to an article for you. If you didn't catch the article, if you saw the 2 or 3 minutes by Quentin Smith on WLBT on the 25th, 2 nights ago, it's not read the story that goes along with that. So pull up WLBT and look at the story that goes along on the 25th, look at the story by Anthony Warren and Quinton Smith. It is well, it's a lot of things, but it is comprehensive. It is a comprehensive story. I don't know if there's maybe some bias in there, but it tells you a lot of information that is factual data about all this that's going on. So you really get a good chance to see what's going on if you can check out that story. So we're keeping our eyes on the trash contract, on the water situation, the mortality rates, the unequitable funding in the public school system, the airport authority. We're keeping an eye on all those things to keep you informed of what's going on here. And just in closing today, we wanted to devote a few minutes to the passing of Dr. Freda McKissick Bush. Dr. Bush passed away on January 15th, and actually probably right at this minute, her memorial service is still going on out at the church, New Horizon International on the Hill, on Ellis Avenue, Bishop Crudup. A remarkable woman, practiced medicine for 55 years. Even after she retired, she continued to serve on advisory boards, deeply involved with obstetrics and women's health and other multitude of issues. We've had a couple of shots of her up on the screen. A remarkable lady. I never got the pleasure to meet Dr. Bush. I've met her husband Lee on many occasions. Just a salt of the earth guy, and you just have to assume that she was like that as well. So we pass on our condolences to the entire Bush family. There's been activities this week. There was a viewing last night. The memorial service is going on now, but we just wanted to mention this to you. A real good human being that's passed on now and contributed so much of 55 years plus dedicated service to our community here, and we'll mourn her passing, Dr. Freda McKissick Bush, January 15th, 2023. And we thank you so much for joining us today. Please give We Believe Digital a call at 1-800-492-5186 if you have any thoughts or ideas about maybe doing your own podcast show. We cut commercials, we do sound, going on over here, and a young, vibrant, can-do attitude producers that are here and that are available to you. Give us a call, 1-800-492-5186. Stop over 2659 Livingston Road. And talk to our producers, see what we can work out and provide for you, help you along the way with putting your products out there, your products and services, do some commercials for you, or do a show for you. However you want to do it, we can work it out, create a package for you. We'd be glad to see you. All right, well, have a great day and have a great weekend and stay safe out there. We'll see you next Wednesday at noon.